just two areas where change is needed: ship design practices and industrial base investments. First, ship design. Improving ship design practices is one step that could help drive different outcomes on shipbuilding programs. As I have testified in the past, both Navy and Coast Guard continue to move into construction before designs are sufficiently mature. That's a consistent pattern, and it leads to predictable results: cost overruns, schedule delays, and performance issues. The Frigate and OPC programs provide just the latest examples of these outcomes. The Maritime Action Plan also emphasizes the risks of starting construction too early, and the proposed SHIPS Act encourages the use of commercial best practices for design. If the services want different outcomes, design practices must change. That means aligning key decisions with design maturity and adopting more modern approaches. Globally, commercial shipbuilders are delivering ships on shorter, more predictable timelines. They're doing that in part by using advanced digital tools and integrated design processes. We see similar opportunities for the Navy and the Coast Guard. Investments in technologies like digital twins, which are virtual models which mirror the condition and performance of ships, could improve not just the design process, but testing, production, and sustainment as well. Second, the industrial base. There's broad agreement that without a stronger industrial base, shipbuilding goals simply won't be achievable. Trades workforce shortages, supplier constraints, and shipyard capacity all remain significant barriers. The Navy has already received more than $10 billion to address some of these issues. I recently visited Electric Boat and saw some of these investments at work, and my team spoke with workers about some of the efforts to improve their working conditions. While there are no doubt some promising examples from these investments, what's missing is a fully strategic and coordinated approach. Our recent work on the submarine industrial base investments found that the Navy hasn't defined the scope of what's needed, how much investment it will take, how long it will take, and what a healthy industrial base actually looks like to meet our needs. Without that, decision makers don't have a clear picture of how long we will need to keep investing billions in our industrial base concerns or when we can expect to see results. We're making a related recommendation as a part of this testimony today. We have also previously reported that the Coast Guard lacks a long-term strategic plan to meet its fleet modernization goals. This becomes even more important now as the Coast Guard has moved out quickly to get ships on contract to guide its investments. Let me close with this. While our recommendations offer some fixes, there is no one panacea for our shipbuilding woes. The scale of change required is significant, and it will take sustained, coordinated effort across the government. The current moment, with historic funding and focus, offers a real chance for meaningful progress. If that opportunity isn't matched with disciplined execution and strategic alignment, we could fall short of our goals and waste billions. Your actions to work together as committees to elevate these issues is a really positive step. Increased coordination across the agencies you oversee will be just as critical to ensure we are on the right course for the long journey toward revitalizing U.S. shipbuilding. Thank you for the time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank y'all so much for being here. And I can't be three places at once, and I'm supposed to be. So, but this is the priority for me. So with that, I'm going to submit my questions for the record and would ask that y'all reply to them. And with that, I'm going to yield to Mr. Courtney for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Trent. So again, it's something that this committee really looks forward to in terms of your presence here today. Both offices are so important in terms of giving us, a fresh look at an issue that, as we've heard over and over today, has really just risen really to the top of, priority for the Armed Services Committee as well as the Appropriations Committee. I appreciate the fact that, Mr. Labs, you did acknowledge the tonnage increase, which is, I think, actually a pretty steep increase in terms of, what the output is. I mean, if you look at Cold War era levels, I mean, we really are basically on par, in terms of at least tonnage. The wage improvement money resulted in 2 big labor contracts for the Metal Trades Council up in Groton. Again, about a 40% increase over time, really creating separation with the rest of the labor market. And they're definitely seeing, a lot more response. A week ago Saturday, they had a hiring fair where they were expecting about 400 people to show up. 1,800 showed up. They actually made 900 offers for people who were actually skilled up and ready to start work. I mean, they're attracting people who are already, certified in the trades now to come in the door. And again, it's connected to the wage improvement. There's no question about that. The Columbia program, again, you mentioned, the build rate going back to November. In February, Admiral Weeks announced that the delivery of District of Columbia is now being moved from 2029 to 2028. They've had an acceleration plan now where all modulars are in the building, finally. The bow module came up from Huntington Ingalls, 60% complete. They just made a decision, just get it in the building. And workers from Huntington Ingalls came up with it, and they've actually now are really moving towards pressure hull complete this calendar year, hopefully getting it in the water. They need to get it into the water in 2027 to hit that 28 delivery date. 3 shifts are now working. The third shift was actually just kind of a skeletal crew, and now, again, it's around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, again, a lot of this is anecdotal, and I completely agree with Ms. Oakley that, given the amount of money that's being invested into the industrial base, we need to see a better dashboard in terms of just how it's all sort of unfolding. But there's, in my opinion, I'm pretty close to this place. Admiral Caudle and I were walked through the Columbia site about 10 days ago. There's just a different sort of approach, urgency, that really didn't exist. And as I said, I've been around long enough to sort of see that. So one question I wanted to ask, at least, issue to explore is the question of design before building, which I think is something that, hopefully people have gotten through their heads. The battleship that's been proposed in terms of what's showing up in the skinny budget in both year one and the fit up shows a lot of money going into that project where there is no design that exists as of today. So we're hearing that there's going to be AI-enabled digital twins to help accelerate the design process. But again, just, if there's AI can help, let's go for it. But the bottom line is that we really need to have, I think, some more guardrails about the fact that we do not start cutting steel until we have a design that is, hopefully well over 50% complete. And maybe you can just comment on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's this mistaken notion that getting started fast